sort of gave a bit of feedback. What I think people need to hear is a really good look at your perspective on life. You know what I mean? Like, he's achieved more in his life with 500 times more hardness than anyone in this room. Who here can walk? You know? Good. You're already so far up the rung on who's got it better in life than him. And he's probably one of very few people that's even achieved more than me in an athletic perspective, which is cool. Not that I'm some high-end athlete, but I've achieved a few things that are pretty cool. But Dave, I definitely put higher than me. So, a couple of things happened in my life. Number one is I went to Cambodia about 2 years ago, and I really saw how primitive people live on $1 a day. Has anyone been to Cambodia, like right out in the districts, and actually seen how people live with no running water, no electricity, they poo in a hole in the ground, all that sort of thing? It really changes your perspective in life. You know what I mean? If the one thing I can get you guys out of here tonight to really get a lot out of is perspective. You know what I mean? A lot of people come to us for accountability, motivation, support, which I think we do very well. But we can give you as much of that as you want if you don't get your perspective and you head in the right place. Okay, so anyway, without further ado, I'll give my clap bring on Mr. Dave Sawtell. Also guys, just to let you know, I haven't told Dave this, but we're going to be offering, like, Dave lives on a disability pension, so he pretty much lives off $100 a week. You know what I mean? So we're going to be doing a donation thing at the end. I'll be throwing $50 in. Dave didn't know about that tonight, so that'll be just to support Dave. You know, like, he lives day to day, week to week. You know, disability pension is not, I don't know what it is, I didn't have any idea, but it's really not what it should be for people in this situation. So at the end of the night, I'll give you guys an opportunity. If you feel you've got some value and you want to help Dave out, none of the money goes to myself, it's going to go straight to him. You're more than welcome to. Would bucket at the start, but more than ado, Mr. Dave.
Hang on. I don't remember how to use this by now, do you?
All good?
I think I got a fat head.
No, not started now.
You said that, not me, right?
Is that okay for you?
Yeah, that'll work. We're right now?
Yep.
Okay. Hey guys, as Shane said, I've been in a wheelchair since 1966. I was born paraplegic in Spina Bifida. I was told, well, my parents were told that I only had 48 hours to live. And in that time, my mum was in Southport Hospital, my dad was with me in Royal Children's. And so they had to bolt my mum up there as just in case. But what happened was, 48 hours became 72 hours, 72 hours became a week. And eventually I got better. And they said to Mum and Dad, go away, we're going to put him in a home, forget that he exists, you know, basically. And my mum, being my mum, said no. And she kept on coming backwards and forwards to the hospital, and going, I'm coming to see him, backwards and forwards all the time. And all of a sudden, they just turned around one day, oh, for God's sakes, take him home. So they took me home, and much to their probably disgust now. I came home, and the challenges that Mum and Dad went through raising somebody that's disability, because they were told to go away, forget I existed, but go home and try for another kid. So they took one advice, they went home and tried for another kid. And they actually got my brother. And so there was the two of us, me disabled and the kids, and my brother Brett. In that time, Brett and, because I was taken care of so much and looked after so much, my brother was pretty much left to hand it off to the different families all the time. And I didn't know this until later in life, but he became very resentful. And as we were growing up, like 5, 6, 7, 8, he became very abusive, punching, throwing punches, just being, every time there was a friend around, he'd kind of show off like the big man and boss me around and stuff like that. Now don't forget, he's 12 months younger than me, so he, this went on for quite a while, and in that time, the more it went on, the more depressed I came. And the more depressed I came, The more I pretty much turned into a kind of like a recluse. I just stayed at home, watched TV. I didn't have the life, say, like any of you guys here. I just stayed at home, watched TV, ate food, laid on the bed. Every time my brother came home, I'd go and lay on the bed just so I didn't have to be near him because of the abuse. And as we got older, as we went to school and stuff like that, it also happened at school. And I, again, because I couldn't do all the sports that the kids did at school, now as you kids can play football, do whatever you like, I was pretty much stuck in the library reading books all the time and just being on my own. Now, this is a guy that was around about 6 or 7 starting school, didn't know where he wanted to go, what he wanted to, he didn't know where he fitted in. And that's a big thing for kids these days. They need to know where they fit in. I just didn't know where I fitted in. I didn't know if I started, the more that the abuse came from my brother and a few other things that happened, I started to question, why am I here? What have I done to deserve this? And as time went on and we got older and older and older, the abuse turned into punching, turned into just straight up belittling them, as in trying to make himself look better. All because he didn't know how to accept my disability or myself. The older we got, the more it got worse, and when we were in high school, I, again, tried to find my own friends, couldn't do it, and I just ended up spending all my time on my own. Now, this is 13, 14, 15 years of age, and the people, when you're at school at that age, you try and fit in, and I tried to fit in and do everything I could. But again, not being able to do the football or all the sporting activities, or being able to go for a ride or be with your friends that you do have, again, the depression came back. And as the depression came back, I became more and more reclusive, more and more within myself, and this lasted right through high school. And as I was going through high school, I was suffering from, everybody here knows what dyslexia is? Yep. It's a learning disease, disability, not a disease, sorry. And I was suffering from that because I couldn't understand, I was struggling with fitting in, trying to do school, trying to work on my life. And trying to understand at a 13, 14, 15-year-old where you fit in and what you're going to do with your life being disabled, it can get rather confusing. And I really didn't know where I was. I got that depressed there at one stage that I shut down. I literally shut down. I didn't talk to anybody, the best thing I ever had, I had the best mother in the world. She was my best friend. And as time went on, I relied on her more and more and more. And she was kind of like my activities. We'd go outside and throw the ball, or we'd go for a walk, or something like that. Also, I couldn't get out and be around my friends. The friends that I did have, I couldn't get out because they were out riding motorbikes, push bikes, whatever else. I, again, had a best friend that was my mother, and this went right through my high school, right into my adulthood. And in my adulthood, thank goodness I turned 18, I found that I could drive a car, and that gave me my freedom. My freedom came that I could get out and I could just go. And that made me feel a lot better. But again, every time I'd go to a party or go out with friends, my brother would be there and he'd bring me back down again. Now, don't get me wrong, my brother and I do now get on like a house on fire. But back then, he couldn't explain to me why he did, because he couldn't understand it himself. And when you're in that situation, and now that I look back at it, I can see it. I can see what he was struggling. He was struggling with having a disabled brother. Of course, his friends were turning around and said, when he was younger, he turned around and said, "Why is your brother like that? Why is he in a wheelchair?" And that's hard. That's hard for me to. Sorry, guys. But that's hard for me to cope with, because my brother is somebody that, even though he was younger than me, I looked up to. And to have him not accept me the way I was for a lot of years really hurt. And it really dug in. Now, as I got older, as I said, I found my niche king. I found nightclubs. I found partying. They behave. By the way, Bede's known me for about 30 odd years. Anyway, that was my release. I could get away from everybody, I could get away from everything. I didn't drink, but goddamn, I turned up the dance floors real well. I left time marks where it's supposed to be, I tell you. And that was my release. I got my car, I got my licence, I could get in the car and I could go. And as we got older, as we got into our 20s, my brother loosened up a little bit. And we developed a friendship through motorsport. And the motorsport was speedway. Now you picture, I'm in a wheelchair, my brother's the driver of this speedway car. And they pick me up out of my wheelchair and they feed me in through the window and put me in this race car. So nobody knew that David was in a wheelchair. He's just the co-driver of the car. So that's how my brother and I started to break our life. We started to get a little bit of a bond. We had that mutual agreement, a mutual thing that we really clicked with. And slowly but surely over time, it started to get better and my life started to get better. I could actually start feeling where I belonged, where I could be, where David was, when he was a kid, he was an identity, but he didn't know what his identity was or who he was or where he was going to be. See, my life goal was always to be a fireman. I couldn't do it because I was in a wheelchair. So you look for other stuff. As I got older, I found it very hard to try and get a job. See, I've never had a job in my life. Never. I've had odd jobs here and there, until now. I'll get to that in a minute. I looked for jobs, but as Shane said before, I've lived my whole life on a disability pension, and I've had to make that work. And I did. I got to go and do motorsport with my brother. I got a car so I could get out and I could go up to Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, go and do stuff and get away from everything. But the older I got, the more everybody around me started to get married and started to find relationships and stuff like that, and I was on my own all the time. The depression that I was feeling when I was younger came back because I was on my own again. But the good thing was I had good friends. Yes, they were in relationships, but they tried to make me feel comfortable. But again, you know that saying, you're a third wheel? I always felt like I was a third wheel everywhere I went. Even with my mum and dad when they were trying to help me to feel alive, I always felt like a third wheel. And that's not a very good feeling. You go places and you're enjoying yourself, and then all of a sudden you're over here in the corner, just sitting there on your own. But I'm also very lucky because in that time I'd found good friends of my own, like V and a few of the others. I became more confident. I became more me. When I got to about 28, 29, I was just hanging at home doing stuff. Then I got a phone call saying that my mum had got diagnosed with bowel cancer. And I didn't know this, everybody was kicking it away from me, of course they didn't want me to hurt. And finally I found out, and my mum put up a fight, put a major fight up. The lady was, she was my rock for many years. I was the only 28-year-old that had a curfew. Up until 28. Dave? Yes. Curfew's midnight. Yeah, Mum. 3 o'clock, Dave walks through the door. Mum's standing in the kitchen like a you're 15. What time is it? Late. I'm going to bed. Straight to bed. You know, the older I got, the more she became a little bit more looser. But then she got the cancer, and to watch, I don't care what anybody says, to watch a family member go through and fight the fight that that lady fought. Everybody says I'm inspirational. To watch my mum, she fought for me. She wanted to stay for me. And sorry guys, some of this is really hard to talk about. She got older, she got sicker and sicker and sicker, and then in July 5th, 1995, we lost her. We lost my mum. So I had to fend for myself. So I did, the best way I knew how. I hit the nightclubs again, and I just partied. I partied hard. Everybody was trying to get me calm down. I was still living with my dad and my now stepmother. And eventually, when I was 30 years of age, I got my own house. And that became a really good thing. I was closer to Coolangatta, I could go out more. So that was, again, that was my release, just going out more. And I found that when Mum passed away, I found it very hard. One day Dad said to me, he said, Dave, what do you enjoy doing most out of life? I said, I love being in gyms. I love training. I love doing my training. And he said to me, Dave, righto, I'll pay for your first 12 months. So I joined a gym in Coolangatta and I trained my tail off. I had my own trainer, the whole lot. And he turned around to me one day, and my trainer, and we're training, and he turned to me and said, Dave, I've been doing a bit of research. I said, oh yeah. And he said to me, I've been doing this research and I just found out, it's still working. Yeah. I just found out that there's a sport out there called power weightlifting for disabled. Gee, okay. What is this? And he said, it's a weightlifting competition. He said, if you want to start training for it, I'll train you. And then you go backwards and forwards to Brisbane, because the main area for weightlifting was in Brisbane. So I started training for it. And I went and started training up in Brisbane with the Queensland state team. Not part of the team at that stage, but I was, just training with them. And all of a sudden, both my coach down here on the coast and the coach up there said, Dave's ready for the Queensland and Australian Championships. Let's enter him. So 6 months, pretty much to the day, after I started my training for weightlifting, I won my first Queensland and Australian Championship. So, which I was very, very proud of. In my time in weightlifting, I have done some pretty amazing things. I became Australian champion twice, Queensland champion 4 or 5 times, and I also won the New South Wales Championship, which really upset the New South Wales people, but I don't care. What had happened in my early part of life, I didn't have what I have now. Was able to go to sport. I couldn't do that. As I said, I was in just little Johnny, just go to the library, Dave, you'll be right. But anyway, as I got older, I did this weightlifting and I got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the weights went up and weights went up and weights went up. And eventually, just before I said, can you all see that? The bend in the finger? That's caused by a 50 kilo dumbbell. But anyway, I looked at it and I said, I was training and then they said, right, we're going to send you to Melbourne. You're going down to the Australian Championships. And I said, you're going to lift, we're going to send you down there and we're going to put you up against the big boys, which is the 100 kilo plus class. I'm like, yeah, okay. And like these boys can hit 200, 225 kilos straight up. We're talking people in wheelchairs and amputees, you know, guys with no legs. I go down there, little me, who was the smallest in the group, and that whole competition, I lifted the best lift, and that was my best lift to this day, of 185 kilos, and I came third overall at the Australian Championships. That was ended up being my last competition because of that. Because when you're doing weightlifting, you've got to be able to bend both fingers. This finger, when I lift now, goes straight up. So I couldn't do the competitions anymore. I'm losing it, Shane.
I'm coming.
You've always lost it. You're now.
I've been losing it for years, you know that. Anyway, the weightlifting finished, and at the same time, at the end of my weightlifting, I found myself a partner, and we ended up getting married. And she started wanting to do kayaking. And I said to her, oh yeah, I'll come along and watch. So we went and picked a kayak, and the guy that owned the shop said, Dave, you know, disabled people do kayaking. I went, no. And he said to me, yeah, do you want to give it a go? I said, yeah, all right. So I just putted around in the Tally River for about a month. Then we started doing longer and longer and longer. Then I finally got the proper harness which goes around and hooks you on your feet so you stay in one spot. And then I came up with the brilliant idea, let's do a marathon kayak. So I did. I did a marathon kayak from South Bank and Brisbane and came in Q1, in front of Q1 at Surfers Paradise. 15 hours straight. Paddling. Out in the ocean. And it was the best experience of my life, one of the best experiences of my life. I paddled along. One funny story I'll tell you quickly. I was paddling along, and this fin, about 50 metres, came up at the side of the boat. And I said, because I had to have a partner on the back because he was doing the steering with his feet on the back. And he's there and he's over here, and I said, did you see that? And he said, yeah. And meanwhile, the rescue boat that we had was about 150 metres in that way. The funny thing was, they said, Dave, hug the shore. I said, yeah, no worries. We got out the Brisbane mouth and I went straight out about 2k and then came down. And they just said, that's not the coastline. I said, no, but I'm comfortable out here, leave me alone. Anyway, we went down and again, the fin came up and I put my paddle up in the air to tell the rescue boat to come over, start coming over. And with that, the fin turned and came straight at the kayak. And I went, this is either going to be bad or it's going to be good. I already had the plan to throw my legs out them, of course I don't need them. So that was the plan. I set the mark on the back, I said, don't worry, I'll feed him, I'm just going to give him my legs. And he just turned around and he said, oh, you're an idiot. I said, I know. But anyway, as the fin got closer and closer, because we couldn't tell what it was, and all of a sudden it dove down. I thought, all I could think about was Jaws coming up from behind. And he just said to me, he said, hang on. And all of a sudden out of nowhere, this dolphin just went over the front of the boat. Down about another 2k and I'm paddling along. I got my head down like this. And all of a sudden this face popped up out of the water. It was a dugong. Tell you what, I nearly fell on the bike sideways. I thought, that's it, the bloody thing's coming on the boat. But that's just part of what I do. I don't believe in sitting back and going, woe is me. I never have. At the end of my kayak, a friend of mine said to me, I'm not really happy with the way you are doing the kayaking. He said, yeah. I said, yeah, okay. He said to me, how about if we start up a thing called, we enter you and train you up for long drive golf? I went, yeah, okay. And he said to me, we can do this. And I started training up for it. And long drive golf is 50 metre wide grid, 400 metres long. And I said to him, yeah, okay, I can do this. And so 6 months after I started, I entered my first competition at Redland Bay and won the Queensland State Championship for long drive golf. Wow. So long drive golf became a very, very big part of my life. I actually, golfed it, because I actually became a qualified coach in golf. I loved it a lot. And in that time that I did my golf, I also, very proudly, which I still hold to this day, am the Guinness World Record holder for the longest shot from a chair. Plus, I'm also three-time national champion and 4 times Queensland State champion for golf. Plus the Guinness, and the big one, I'm 2-time world champion, which I still hold now. But at the end of my golfing career, what happened was I got really crook, and I had to give it all away because of the illness called I always say it wrong, but I'm going to say it the best way I can. It's called fasciitis gangrene. I had the gangrene in the back of my... Oh, thanks, Brendan. I got it right. Yeah. Did I nearly get it all right?
Yeah, that was good.
Okay, fine. I'm glad you agree. Anyway, I got this thing called fasciitis gangrene. I ended up in hospital for 4.5 months. In that time, I disappeared from some really, really good friends, and they didn't know where I was, and they went into panic stations. Didn't they, Ken?
I lost track of you.
Yeah, you lost track of me. You lost track of me before that.
Before that,
I kind of disappeared, but I lost track of myself. I was in hospital. I had a 21 centimetre wound on the back of my leg, and which went up my back. And I had the gangrene. And while I was in hospital, this is just after my golf. I went to America, and then while I was in America, I won the title, second of the title. Came back, and I was back about a month, and I became sick. About a month, yeah. Came back about a month, and I started to get sick, and I'd go up and I'd be alright, and then I'd drop, and then I'd go up, and then I'd drop, and then I'd go up. Eventually, Christmas 2017, I crashed, and I just stayed home, didn't do anything. I was, at that same time, I was actually training in a gym, trying to get ready for my first amateur boxing fight, which I know that might surprise a few of you, but it's something I still want to do now, Jay Gregory.
you better start trying to me rather than Brendan, man.
He said that, actually. Anyway, I had the dream, but then I got crook, and I was in Tweedheads Hospital, and they did 2 operations, and they said to my dad, don't think he's going to make it. So Dad bolted home and got my step up, and they came back down to hospital. I had 2 operations at the Tweedheads Hospital, which I passed away in one of them. So they realised they couldn't do much more for me, so they transferred me up to PA, and that's when I disappeared from everybody, and I still regret that now. I disappeared from my family, and I disappeared from some really, really good friends, and I hurt them. And I'm still feeling very sorry about that today. I got up to PA, Princess Alexandria Hospital in Brisbane, and they said to me, the doctor was blunt, he said, we're going to put you in for an operation, we're going to give you a bag. So just so you know, I've got 2 bags, one for P and one for number 2. And the doctor said, have you got a will? Now guys, kids, that's the most scariest thing you can ever go through, hearing that. I don't ever want to hear of anybody here going through what I've just been through with that. The doctor said to me, he said, Dave, we don't know what's going to happen. We'll see how we go. And anyway, the next day I went in for this operation. I think it was about 14 hours long. And just before I went in, the anaesthesiologist said, how do you want to be woken up? And I turned around and said, straight away. She said, no, I think I'll let you sleep and wake up naturally. I said, bad mistake. She said, why? She said, I said, you'll find out. 2.5 days later, I finally woke up. You think about it. I had the best sleep of my life. But I was very sick. And with that, I had 14 operations. 14 operations, and I was in hospital for 4.5 months. But what this is about tonight, guys, is I want you kids out here to know that if you're having any form of problems at school or home with friends, talk to your parents, talk to your mum, talk to your dad, talk to your grandparents. Don't let it do what I did. I let it eat me up. I don't want to hear you guys having it eat you up, you kids, okay? Stay in contact with your parents. And if you've got a brother and sister, for God's sakes, give them a hug every day, because they deserve it. I'm proud of my life, and I'm proud where I am now. But it's been very, very hard. And it's been one of the hardest things I've ever done. I've had a lot of ups and downs. But in those ups and downs, there's been some very, very good times. And especially lately, there's been some really good times. Now, just as I finish tonight, I want to say a couple of things, please. Just humour me, okay? Firstly, to you, Shane Gregory, thank you very much for opening up Beyond to me. You're not just my trainer, one of my trainers. You're my friend, and you've done the world good for me. So thank you very much. Brendan, who is sitting up the back. Here we go, it's all coming. Thank you. You've helped me out. See, guys, when I got crook, I didn't know where I was going to go or what I was going to do or what I was ever going to achieve again. Thanks to coming here, I'm achieving again. I'm achieving things that I love. I love to box. I love to train. I love to lift heavy weights. I think some of you have seen my videos. But I love to train and I love being here. And thanks to Shane, he's also now given me a little job from time to time. And that means a lot to me. It's the first time in my life I've got a job. But back to Brendan. Thank you very much for supporting me. Thank you very much for being there. Thank you for always. Where is she? There, Mum.
Hello.
Thanks. Just thanks for being there, mate.
Always a pleasure.
And Anna, where is she? She's actually working. Anna, are you actually working at this time of night?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. No, thank you for everything. You know, thank you for the reminders to take my food home.
You have 2 meals still.
Thanks for that. I ate the other 2.
Hey, Dave, checking on the iPad for this, mate. Now, you part of the team.
Hang on a second. Brandon, what I just said to you, I'm taking back. And to answer your question, no, I didn't. I was a bit nervous, okay? To everybody here, thank you for coming. Cassie. Thank you for your support and your friendship and everything you've done over the last few months to help me. Benny, thanks for not doing the timer.
You're welcome.
Right. Guys, when I was in hospital, I got introduced to a thing called NDIS. And NDIS helps people that can't do stuff for themselves anymore. Now, me being the strong person I was, or am, sorry, I'll say am, I had to give away a lot of my life. But I'm proud to say I'm a better person for what I was when I got out of hospital. It's because of the NDIS. Oh, by the way, before I forget, Jen, thanks for being there for the last 3 years. You're a good friend. Thank you. And in that time with NDIS, they've given me cleaners, cooks, just to help me around the house, shoppers. I'm not good enough, mate. Not good enough. Just shoppers and somebody just to be there to do things with me. So, to you, Jazzy, thank you for helping me with my life, and thank you for being a friend. You're awesome. So, on that note, guys, Lee, thanks for coming.
She is great.
But Jazzy, you've supported me a lot lately, and I just want to say thanks, mate. You're awesome. So, everybody, thank you very much. And I hope you got something out of that. Now, before I go, any questions? Uh-oh. The redhead's asking me a question. Yes, Chels? Oh, yeah. Stage fright, Chels. Anybody else?
Guys, real quick. Now, I'll just say something right now. I love the Q&A part, like what I like to speak. You've got someone here who's got a stronger mindset than anyone in this room. By double.
Hang on. I'm going to ask a funny little question right here to Shane.
Yes, sir.
How close was that to Sydney?
Oh, man.
He's not crying.
Yeah, I've been crying. I've done.
Quite.
I think it was a really good talk.
Was it better than...
The Sydney talk, you went a little bit more down the sporty aspect.
Yeah.
I think it's more personal.
Well, you only gave me half an hour, so I thought I'd better...
Next time, I think
I can
the
tell you
Sydney
some
talk was
stories.
good from
Look,
an athlete's perspective.
I'm going to be truthful. I've been rewriting this speech for a long time, for a few weeks now, and this is what I want to do. I want to be able to speak and help people, help kids, help disabled people. I just want to be able to speak from the heart, which I do, and I speak from the heart and I speak for what has happened in my life. And tonight, I've been watching a few of your faces, and I'm sorry if I made a few of you nearly cry. Shane even nearly cried. I was watching. I know you did. Yes! I got the tough man to cry. But I just hope one of you or some of you kids just got something out of that tonight. Don't give up, never give up and never retreat from anything in your life, guys. Fight for what you want. Fight for what you want. Uh-oh. Yes, Miss Gaz.
When you were in your lowest of lows, in your depression, besides the people around you, what advice do you give to people to help them get out from your personal experiences?
Okay, pick the right people to have around you. Pick the right family members to have around you. It doesn't matter if it's your husband, your best friend. Pick the right people, because the right people will help you get out of anything. The wrong people will always bring you down. And I've had that a lot in my life. I thought I had a lot of friends in my life. But slowly but surely, the cream of the crop came to the top. And especially, and that goes a lot lately. This place has given me some really, really special friendships. So, Cass, to be honest with you, you've got the right people sitting around you right now.
I'm not asking for me.
Hey?
I'm asking for a friend.
No, you've got the right people around you to help it. Well, anybody, I'm just saying. Sorry, I mean, you all. You have the right people around you here at Beyond. You have the right support, and you have the right people with the right attitude. If any of you ever want to sit down and have a chat, my big ears are willing to listen, because that's why I'm here. I want to help each and every one of you at Beyond in some way if I can. So, on that note, is there any questions at all?
Quick one, Dave. So, what advice would you give? Because one of the challenges of PT is mindset. I mean, that we have to try and, we can hold them accountable, we can motivate them, we can support our clients as much as you want. But because a lot of these clients are, and it's good to hear it from someone else rather than me or Brendan or Hannah, what advice would you give to the clients when they're struggling to get motivated, to be healthy, get to the gym, eat right? Because you've lost a ridiculous amount of weight and done a really big transformation in the last 6 months yourself. What would you say to the clients who need to help them along?
Guys, what I would say is, pick small goals. Don't go for the big goal. Just pick small goals. Pick one. It might be come and see Shane, Brendan, Anna, Jenny, or one of the coaches here at Beyond. Sit down and have a chat with them. Work out what your goals are and let them go just let it go one step at a time. Don't rush anything. Life is there to be lived. So we do these things one step at a time. We just go, okay, it might be get up, go for a walk. It might be, hey, I feel like going to the gym, so I'm going to go to the gym. And slowly but surely, as you open up your heart and your mind to the gym or to the exercise, you'll find that it becomes a part of your life. It's become a big part of my life. It's become a huge part of my life, and I love it. I love being here, I love being in a gym. But just for the normal person that's just struggling with trying to get the motivation, pick a goal and pick what you want to achieve in your life. There might be something. I know a couple of you in here that didn't like coming to the gym too much, and Shane, could you go and sit on that thing up at the back? I just know that with the gym, anybody can achieve anything. If you set your mind to achieve, it might be to do a 5k walk or the 5. Anybody ever heard of the beach runs, the park runs? I do in a few weeks' time, I'm going back and start doing the park runs, 5k runs. So that's a goal. Just set yourself something you want to achieve and go with it from there. Don't look at me and laugh.
Alright, we might leave it at that.
But anyway, anybody else, quickly? Well, thank you very much. I hope you've all got. I'm going to ask, hands up who actually got something out of that, please. God damn, I got the whole room. No, thank you very much.
Give them a clap, guys. That's awesome.
I'm happy with that.
Jesus. And just to answer for feedback, that's the best speech I've seen you do yet, David, 3 or 4, so very good. I think the last time we spoke, I think you got to context the room a little bit, because there's so many people that aren't athletes or just sales. Like the first course we went to was all sales and marketing, it was business. This is a bit more personal, so I went there with you guys. Anyway, guys, just pull this sheet up, please. Anna's walking around with a pen. Can you grab a pen? So, guys, just to let you know, I should have, Dave did not want me. It was my idea about asking about if you guys want to donate some cash. I'm going to put $50 in here right now, so just to show you, I don't bullshit, also I don't talk crap, okay? I'm going to leave that here at the end of the night. That's also going to stay on the front desk for the next 2 or 3 days. A lot of people don't carry cash. If you want to donate, it's going to be there at the end of the night, and I'm going to leave it at the front desk for the next 72 hours. Everyone's all good? Has anyone not got a pen? A pen? Is anyone ready?
Sorry, there's more pen.
There's more pen. Oh, cool. You go, Daisy. All right, cool. So, guys, we're going to go on health and fitness tonight. Okay, we're going to go health and fitness goals. So, look, put your name in the top left corner, and your goal start date is today. And the date is what's the date today? 7th of the 8th. Just write that real quick. So, I want you to go really, really, really narrow. Really narrow. And by that, I mean like it can be a number you want to weigh, it can be the amount of personal training or group fitness sessions you want to do, it can be like what changes you want to do in your diet, but I want you to go health and fitness. So this is a 30-day goal. So from now till the 7th, 8th or whatever of September, we're going to do another talk in next month, all right? And you guys are more likely to come back. What's the goal you want to achieve? And look, guys, if you're not training regularly, it might be a business goal, it might be a personal one, but most of the clients here, what goal do you want to achieve in the next 30 days? Oh, sorry. My bad. Sorry, Facebook. 30 days, guys. 30 days. What's your goal? Do you want to drop a couple of kilos? Do you want to train consistently? Do you want to eat right? Do you want to write your goals down? Do you want to get more motivated? Do you want to go for a walk every day? Do you want to be nicer to your dog? I don't know, whatever it is. You know, walk your dog. That's a good goal. Okay. So I'll give you a couple of minutes. So this is just real quick. So I want to give you guys something practical. It's always good to go rah-rah and get into the emotion of motivational speaking, but it's always good to do something practical to get more motivated. So I'll give you guys another minute.
Yeah, I want to lose 41 kilos in 4 weeks.
You want to lose what? Jesus Christ. It's the biggest loser, man. I'll lock up and keep it at my house for that one. Alright, cool. Next one. Guys, very simple. What are 4 steps you're going to do to reach your goal? Alright, if you're going to lose weight, you're going to look at something like exercising regularly. You're going to look at something like eating properly. You're going to look at something like, meditating, sleeping better. What is it? What are the steps you're going to do to reach your 30-day goal? What are those steps? It can be, and just basic, simple. Guys, anything with goal is SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-based, intelligent, effective, and something you can do every day. It's an acronym for goal setting. 4 steps, just quick steps. It might be reserving my classes on Zen Plan. It might be meal prepping. It might be, not buying coffee every day. It could be anything, whatever it is.
Oh yeah, and then the step.
So 4 steps. I'll give you another minute or 2. Well, you eat. Is that part of the Jasmine approved diet? Jazzy, is that next issue? Okay. I'm not upsetting her, mate. Right, 4 steps, guys. All right, next. 2 things that will help you reach your goal. So think about accountability here. Think about accountability. Think about what it is that will help you. Is it getting a nutrition plan? Is it having an accountability partner? Accountability buddies work really well, and it's really well with like close friends. And girls and females do it very well. Like people that live together, husband and wife, sometimes accountability can get funny, but it depends on the relationship you got. 2 things help you reach your goal. Think of motivation and accountability. Think like reading books, think, joining a gym, hiring a trainer, whatever it is. Alright, now the last thing is the result. Okay, so I'll give you another 30 seconds. If you're a female, you can write and listen. Guys, sorry, I'll repeat this again for you. So, what will you know if you've reached your goal? Are you looking at the scale? This is where it gets specific. Are you looking at the scales and you've lost 4 kilos? Is it, you weigh, are you a certain dress size? Is your pantry looking different? Are you wearing a new form of clothing that fits? That's a good one, like a pair of jeans. Are you dropping the dress size, for example? So, what we're going to do, guys, so just while you're finishing up, it's up to you. There's two things you can do. Number one is you can take a photo and take it home, or you're more than happy to take the hard copy. It depends on what you want to do. If you are planning on coming to we're going to do these every month, okay, so we'll be a different speaker next month. So we are planning on doing this. So what you do, you want to leave it just on the front desk. Anna, can raise your hand. Anna, hello. Anna's over there. Leave it with her at the front desk. You can leave it here or you can take it home. Besides that, I wanted to thank everyone for coming tonight. It's good to see some new faces, some old faces, some current faces. Dave will be speaking a lot more. And guys, can I ask a favour? Not for me, for Dave. If any of you guys have a workplace, a sports team, a kids' sport, something like that would benefit from hearing Dave talk. And I honestly think the kids' sporting team would benefit a lot, okay? He's looking to get into speaking now. Into business, like I met Dave at a business conference about bloody sales, you know what I mean? So if any of you have teams or anything that you think could benefit from hearing a story like that, come and talk to me or talk to Dave. Probably talk to me because I can help Dave set it up in regards to getting meetings and that sort of. But that's one thing he really wants to grow. Okay, he wants to get into speaking. He's an awesome speaker. You know what I mean? He's you can't get much more genuine than that. He's very moving. Besides that, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks a lot for coming tonight. I'd like to say, guys, if you want to chuck some money in for Dave, more than welcome. Also, I'm going to leave it at the front desk for the next 2 or 3 days. Besides that, if you could do me a favour, if you've got one of these gym chairs you sit on, could you just sit them over there? The rest of the other seats, if you could just stack up. See, just before we go, guys, real quick. If you've got one of these foldy seats, can you fold it up? Can I fold it up, put it over there for you, Jim? Is that alright? I'll just show you so visually you're seeing it. Can you come over here? Wait. Okay, can you chuck it over here? If you've got a big, tall blue seat like what Jasmine's sitting on, can you chuck it outside? Besides that, thanks for coming down. Okay, like I said, guys, if anyone knows of anyone that could use Dave's expertise in motivating, let me know and I'll help you hook up.
Thank you.
And the blue seats, guys, if they can go outside, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Over there, though. Don't follow. No, not that one. Shit, I'm still alive.